Are you juggling part-time work or full-time work with your PhD? Have you got a lot of plates spinning and you live in this constant state of busyness, just hoping that you can hold on long enough to finish this damn PhD? If that's you, you are not alone. You are not the only one. I've come to realise recently the sheer number, oh my goodness, the sheer number of PhD students who are working part-time or even working full-time and studying full-time at the same time. I'm like, how on earth are you guys doing this? Just how? A lot of people have been in touch asking me to make some videos, sharing some tips on how on earth they just keep going. So this video is the second in my two-part series, sharing some tips and some strategies about how to balance work and PhD and not go completely insane in the process. So the first video I will link to up here, and I will also link to it in the description too. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Yardley, and I've spent the last 2 decades supporting graduate students through their dissertations. Now, in that time, I have seen a huge increase in the number of people juggling their PhD with full-time work or multiple part-time jobs or other general life stuff, and just not having enough hours in the day. I've also seen a lot of PhD students completely burn out in the process, and I do not want that to happen to you. So let's take a look at 3 things that you can do to make life a bit more manageable. My first tip is a really boring one, a really obvious one, but a really important one. Stay organised. At any point recently, have you been digging around on your laptop or in your cloud storage, struggling to find a particular document or an email or a journal article or a draft 4.1 of your findings chapter? Have you driven yourself completely nuts looking for it? So I guess my real question underneath that one is, do you have a system? Do you have a series of folders in your cloud storage that make sense, that helps you organise your digital PhD stuff? Do you have an area in your home where your hard copy PhD stuff lives, and how's that working out for you? Is that area a bit of a state at the moment, or is it nice and tidy? If you don't have some form of system for organising your PhD paraphernalia, digital and hard copy, then you need to develop one. If you have got a system and you've gotten into a bit of a mess with it, it's fine. You just need to set aside some regular time to tidy it up, to maintain it, to keep on top of it, and to figure out, is the system that I started out with continuing to work for me, or do I need to change it up a bit? But don't worry if things have got into a bit of a mess, into a bit of a state, because everybody gets into bad habits with their PhD stuff, with their research stuff. Everyone gets into the habit of saving stuff in their documents folder or on their desktop. Yep, guilty as charged on that one. And I often find that it's the literature review that's the trouble spot, not just for PhD students, but for academics in general. So in terms of being organised, the literature review is where it all kind of dies. There will be PDF papers here, there and everywhere that you've emailed to yourself, that you've saved in your drafts folder, that you've got in some cloud storage that you haven't even looked at in a very long time. You might have started off being like really diligent in inputting notes or references into some kind of spreadsheet or reference management software system or whatever, but that's kind of fizzled out now. So in terms of being organised, in terms of storing stuff, you might want to have a look at it. You might want to revisit it. You might want to rethink it. And I often find with PhD students, they will get a bit of shiny object syndrome when a new kind of system comes along or a new way of planning comes along, and they're like, yeah, this is going to solve all of my planning and organisational issues, and it's just going to be this magical thing. And more often than not, it turns out not to be a magical thing. So you might have completely fallen in love with an electronic calendar or a digital to-do list or some kind of planner that you might be paying a monthly subscription for. I can think of one that I'm paying a monthly subscription for right now. And it's turned out that perhaps was not the magic bullet that you thought it would be. So you might have to kind of revisit some of the systems that you've kind of got into because you thought they were the answer to all of your organisational problems, but they might not be. And you might want to go back to some really basic stuff. There's been a bit of a debate in my Instagram comments feed recently about the use of referencing software, with a lot of people going, why the hell aren't you using it? Why aren't you using Zotero or Mendeley or whatever the hell it is, EndNote? And other people going, no, I can't get on with it. I get into a mess with it. I would rather just do it manually because that's my system and that's what I know works for me. And I respect both of those positions, okay? So you just need to be clear what is working for you, what is not working for you in terms of being organised. Have you got distracted by an organisation system? Because aren't they the best form of procrastination? But if you have, you need to get back on it and you need to go, right, in terms of staying organised, how am I staying organised? Is that working for me? If not, I need to change it up. Because your organisational tools, your organisational systems, they should not be a form of stress for you, okay? They should be something that alleviates the stress. They shouldn't be something that creates additional stress and additional things to do over and above stuff that you're doing anyway. So that's my roundabout way of saying, find something that works for you. Tip number 2, find accountability partners. In the often solitary journey of a PhD, accountability partners can be invaluable companions for you. Whatever you want to call them, your PhD study buddy, your doctoral sidekick, just that one other person who really gets it, who understands the struggles of PhD life, who can empathise with the ups and downs and can be there to celebrate your victories and give you a shoulder to cry on as well. This person can be absolutely crucial to your doctoral success. So by connecting up with fellow PhD students and buddying up with one or two in particular, having regular check-ins, setting up a WhatsApp group, that kind of thing, you're not just forming friendships there, you are building a robust support system. These are the people you can turn to when you hit a roadblock in your research or when imposter syndrome starts to creep in and you've got that negative internal chatter going on. They can help you drown that out. They can help you see that yes, you are a success. You do have a history of academic accomplishments behind you and you are not an imposter. Because sometimes you need to hear that from other people who aren't me on YouTube, other people who are there in front of you, walking this journey with you, who can reassure you that you can do this. And having an accountability partner means having a little bit of structure to your relationship with them. So committing to regular check-ins when you're talking about your goals, you're talking about your challenges, you're talking about progress that you've made. And this kind of accountability, it doesn't have to be complex. You just need a bit of structure. It can be really helpful in keeping you on track, even when the going is getting really tough. Knowing that someone else is invested in your success can sometimes be all you need to push you forward or to dig yourself out of a hole, even on those days when you're just not feeling it. And as well as accountability partners, those one or two people who you form quite a close bond with, don't underestimate the power of larger communities too. So I'm thinking about things like Facebook groups, online forums, even local meetups in particular subject areas. They can be such a valuable source of camaraderie. So look for groups of people who you have something in common with. And for you guys watching this video, that might be people who are juggling study and work, people who are doing full-time, part-time, multiple jobs alongside their PhD. Chances are you will find people out there who are navigating the same balancing act that you are. And if you can't, maybe set one up. Please set one up and link to it in the comments. These groups can be invaluable sources of advice, of solidarity, of encouragement. Whether you're looking to share strategies on time management or you're just looking for a sympathetic ear after you've had a bit of a tough day, you'll find that these communities are great. They really do provide a safe space in which you can just offload about all things PhD. So to summarise that tip, I'm basically saying don't go it alone. Okay, the PhD is a lonely enough journey as it is. So do take the time and use opportunities to connect with other students. And together you can navigate the peaks and the troughs of the PhD journeys and the ups and the downs of the roller coaster. Having somebody sat next to you on that roller coaster can be massively, massively important. If you're watching this video and you're thinking, yeah, what she said just then, that's helpful, I might try that. If you're thinking that, please take a moment to hit that like button because it helps other people find this video too. And I am on a mission. I'm on a mission to help thousands and thousands of PhD students through this channel. And I need your help to accomplish that. So hitting that like button is just one small thing that you can do to help me on my journey. And the last tip that I want to share with you is to celebrate the milestones, even the milestones that don't really feel like milestones. All too often, we kind of save the PhD celebrations, we save them for the end result. So getting that piece of paper, being able to call yourself doctor, and then going and changing your titles on your credit cards and your driver's license and all of that stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, that is really cool. That is such a cool part of getting a PhD, and I really enjoyed that. Just a quick sideline. I went into a local electronics store to pick up something I'd ordered. And the guy on the counter said to me, "Is it Miss or Mrs.?" And I went, "Neither, it's Doctor." And just that moment was just like, oh yes, this is it, I have arrived. But yeah, all of that stuff, really great, fantastic. And when you get to do all that stuff, you get the piece of paper, call yourself doctor, etc. Wonderful. But please don't lose sight of the little victories along the way, of the small wins that all contribute towards that journey. Too often, when we do get a win on our PhD journey, we don't take the time to stand back and say, "Well done me, I'm pretty great." We just get straight onto the next thing. We go straight back to answering our work emails, or we just get on with our next chapter. We're like, right, done, on to the next thing. And that is not helpful. Okay, we need to make sure that we are taking the time to celebrate our wins and to actually acknowledge the progress that we're making. And the last thing that I want to say is, don't be afraid to shout about your successes too. Because sometimes the people around us don't always get the magnitude of some of our academic wins, especially if you're the first person in your family to do a PhD or to do a graduate degree, and your nearest and dearest aren't going to have the same experience that you've had of the education system. They don't kind of appreciate sometimes how big a deal a particular thing is. So shout about your successes. Obviously shout about it to your friends and family, because they are going to be supportive, but you might also want to be shouting about it to your community, to your accountability partner, to the online networks that you're part of. You might even want to pop something in the comments of this YouTube video too. Because platforms like YouTube, channels like mine, Instagram accounts like mine, I'll link to it up here, you find that in and around these spaces there are a lot of supportive people. A lot of people doing a PhD under similar circumstances to the circumstances you are, balancing it with work, balancing it with childcare. And I am always really heartened to see in the comments people cheering each other on, always cheering each other on, saying, "Well done, you've got this," suggesting strategies and tips. It's amazing. So put them in the comments. And with that, we have come to the end of this two-part series on the delicate balancing act that is PhD study and work, and all the other life things we've talked about. And here's a quick recap of the 3 tips that I've shared in this video. Firstly, be organised using whatever system works for you, whether that is some kind of fancy digital setup or a good old paper-based system. Go you. Secondly, do not underestimate the power of accountability partners and PhD online communities. Connect with other people who are experiencing the highs and the lows of PhD life, and you will find that navigating the choppy waters of doctoral life becomes a lot more bearable, knowing that it's not just you. Thirdly, celebrate your wins, even the small ones, especially the small ones. They all add up. They are all steps on your journey. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, you will definitely want to check out part 1, which I will link to in the description, and be sure to come back for my next video, in which I'm going to be sharing more tips and strategies on navigating the messy and the magical of the PhD journey. I'll see you then.